I'm sure many ladies pine after you.
Yes, well, if only I desired them as much as they desired me. We keep walking, and after a few seconds, he finally takes the hint, doing a double take in my direction.
Oh. Oh.
Oh! Oh! Really? I had no idea. I mean, you don't act.
I don't know, sorry, after the other comment, they'd be like, Lyle's just gonna come across that way to be like,
You don't act like that. You must be one of the good ones.
Alrighty. I gotta say, I am so in love with this opening music. I'm pretty sure, I feel like I already know the answer to this because I saw it on the first episode and it was already explained to me, but it's original music, an original composition made for this game. Ah, so nice, so pretty. I love this song. In fact, alright everybody, welcome back. This is Linen Otter, here to do another episode of Lyre. I feel bad I forgot where we left off. At first, I was pleased with how good the cold towel felt on my face. Stepping out into the cool chill of the afternoon makes me regret doing it though. I know that feeling. My face feels like it's going to freeze up and crack like porcelain.
Follow me. The throne room is this way.
He leads me down a flight of stairs at the end of the hallway. I notice there are a lot of plants growing on the walls the further down the corridor we go. I can hear leaves crunching underneath my shoes. This castle is so full of life. We're further away from the outdoor hallways and getting closer to the inside of the castle. It's a lot warmer, and I enjoy the feeling of the fire coming from the torches above. Lyle turns a corner, leading me down another hallway with a considerable amount of flowers and leaves adorning the walls. I assume the vitality fire coming from the torches is what's keeping these plants alive. I watch his large, poofy tail swish back and forth as he walks ahead of me. He has a funny way of walking where he puts a lot of movement in his arms and shoulders. Something like a strut. Oh. We arrive at a large archway, and Lyle steps to the side, gesturing for me to walk through. What I see next is the most marvelous room I have ever laid eyes on. It's not much in terms of size, but it feels like something out of a dream. Large, gold-tinted windows line the walls, casting light onto the floor. Patches of grass and plants are burst out of the foundation, and golden flowers grow off of them like spots of sunlight. Their petals dance to the ground gracefully and lay in piles on the floor. The main attraction, however, is a peculiar sight at the very end of the hall. The ground has burst through the platform and a grassy patch has taken its place. On top of this, a large tree stump has been carved into a massive throne. Cushions line the seat, and the golden crest of Tigrin sits atop the back of the throne. I see Lyre's banners lining the walls, with the Ocean family crest with the Ocean family crest upon them, and the large green rug leading up to the throne. Lyle and I begin to walk down the hall, with me taking the lead. Raynar is standing with his arms behind his back at the end of the hall, speaking with who I assume to be Lord Kadaj. Even from here, I can tell that he is a feline. The pointy ears and tail give it away. I can't name what species he is, though. Is that a lynx? It's definitely not a species that I've ever seen, and I'm not very good with that sort of thing anyway. He's about my height, maybe just a bit taller, and he's wearing a sharp green outfit. The thing that stands out the most of all are his eyes. They're large and cat-like, shining like polished jasper. His tail lightly whips to and fro in a lazy manner. Raynar notices me approaching and turns in my direction.
Ah, there he is. Our friend from Erin.
I give him a nod and a smile as I approach. My apologies for being a bit late. I was not very prepared. I can tell Lyre is forcing himself to hold back a laugh. Kadaj speaks up.
If anyone should apologize for being late, it's me.
I'm now close enough that he reaches out a paw.
Please allow me to properly introduce myself. I am Lord Kadaj of Driss. I don't know, we're still debating that one.
I take his paw and shake it firmly. It's very nice to meet you, Lord Kadaj. I'm Lord Richter of Erin, and this is Lyre Reed, Captain of the Royal Guard.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Lord Richter and Lyre Reed. King Raynar has mentioned you quite a bit in his excitement.
I look to Raynar and he looks at the two of us.
All good things.
It's true. Well, we were just exchanging stories. I was telling him the story of why I was delayed.
What happened? He breathes in and begins to explain.
We were making our way through the canyon pass when we were set upon by bandits. My soldiers fought bravely, but we were out of our element and easily cornered.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
My men fought them off, but they stole a few of our carriages and carts, riding off with them, leaving most of us stranded. There weren't too many casualties, thankfully, but it made our trip considerably longer. It took us about a day and a half, but we finally came upon an outpost. I sent a letter to Dries and made sure the outpost would be compensated for the horses, carts, and supplies we borrowed. After that, we made it through the rest of the canyon pass and up through the northern run.
He pauses and we let this revelation sink in.
Something needs to be done about those bandit groups south of the glade. I've tried everything I can on my end. It's bad enough that they prey on travelers, but now they're directly attacking royal officials.
He turns to Kadaj and nods his head.
Rest assured, I will do what I can to resolve this issue. My advisor and war minister is away on a sensitive diplomatic mission, and I estimate she will not return for a couple of weeks. Hopefully by then, a solution will be found.
If there is anything I can do to help, please let me know.
Thank you, but I believe that something like this would be conducted best with her here. It's a problem I'll be glad to be rid of.
The King's advisor? I was wondering why I hadn't met them yet.
However, I trust that you will be able to handle the task that I have given you with care.
Of course, Your Majesty. That's why I'm here.
A silence falls over the Golden Hall, and before we let it get too awkward, I speak up. An avalanche wiped out half of my entourage, and I was wounded for a couple of days. Kadaj shoots me a look of shock.
Really?
Yes. Beat that. Interesting pattern that I'm noticing, though. People coming across bad fortune when they try to travel here, huh?
That's a bit, blunt.
He's right. I shouldn't blurt out things like that. I'm not very good at telling stories, though. My apologies. I haven't really had the chance to tell anyone yet.
How's that?
Well, when you're knocked out for 4 days, everyone seems to find out about it before you do. It takes him a moment, but Kadaj lets out a quick, loud laugh.
You're very clever.
He gives me a curt nod and a smile. Not many people tell me that, but when they do, I can't help but feel it's just some empty... Not many people tell me that, but when they do, I can't help but feel it's just some empty flattery. I'm just decent with words, nothing more.
Oh, don't worry. I think that's even better.
I give him a smile and turn to Raynar. So, this is the throne room. Raynar turns in the direction of the throne, biting his lip. Oh, dang. He's like, damn, that chair looks nice. That chair, yes. I call her Linda. Yes, and this is my throne. It's a very handsome chair. Oh, wow, he really does like that chair. Like, oh, yes, he's very handsome. Yes, but not as comfortable as one would think. I rarely like to sit in it. Though some say that it is a source of all life in the kingdom. It certainly looks like it. I gesture around the room with my hand. Raynar chuckles. Yes, well, they also say that the water from deep under the ground is what gives this area life. The tree was cut ages ago, but it still continues to thrive. And yet it will never reach its true potential. Adrius announces his arrival by walking through the door behind the throne. He enters with a smile, clearly interested in the subject matter. I take it you finished your classes? Training in the courtyard? Of course. Lord Kadaj, this is my son, Prince Adrius. Raynar gestures towards Adrius as he approaches us. Kadaj turns and bows before Adrius.
Now, that is a name I've heard before. Prince Adrius, it is an honor to finally make your acquaintance.
Adrius seems pleased with this display. I can't tell if this is more flattery or if he's being genuine. All I can tell is that my timer isn't on, so I discreetly open up my phone without alerting them as to what kind of newfangled future technology I have at my disposal, and I flip it on for about, I don't know. There you go. No one saw that.
Thank you, my lord. I take it your trip went smoothly? Not as smooth as one would have hoped. I ran into some trouble on the road. I can explain it to you later if you'd like, but right now I need a hot bath and some rest.
Adrius bites his cheek and responds in a curious tone. I would enjoy that, yes. Kadaj walks up to me and grabs both of my hands in his paws.
It was a pleasure meeting you, my lords Richter and Lyre. I can't say I've met many humans.
Lyle gives a quick bow of acknowledgement. I can't say I've met many, Kadaj places a paw over his mouth and chuckles.
Caracals.
Oh, hello. Yes, forgive me. My knowledge on different species is a bit rusty.
There's nothing to be forgiven. I'm a bit of a rare species, especially in these lands.
He turns and bows to Raynar and Adrius.
It was very nice meeting you, Raynar and Adrius. I'll take my leave. Hopefully my guards haven't been too comfortable in my room yet.
I watch Adrius as his eyes perfectly follow Kadaj as he walks away. He walks down the hall and disappears through the archway, his tail whipping around the corner. Before anything else can happen, Adrius speaks up.
Lord Richter, I'd like to have a word with my father alone if you don't mind.
Raynar looks to his son with an inquisitive look. Of course. I'll be going now. Goodbye.
Take care, Richter.
I turn and walk down the hall with Lyle following behind me. I can hear Adrius mumbling something to Raynar as I round the corner. Something about Kadaj. Even with the echoing halls, it's hard to make out what he's saying. We make our way a couple steps down the corridor before Lyle speaks.
He seems a bit eccentric.
I take a seat on one of the benches nearby and rest my head against the back of the wall. I like him. Lyle sits down next to me, lifting his tail so that he doesn't sit on it.
I don't know. I don't trust him.
He crosses his arms and looks at me.
He seems like a man of motives. And flattery.
Is it because he's a cat?
No, it's not because he's a cat. That's a bit rude, you know. I'm not racist. I got plenty of friends who are cats.
He has an annoyed look on his face. I was only joking, but I'm sorry.
It's fine. I actually enjoy cats. They're good at making conversation.
As we talk, I notice two guards pacing down the hallway, with their helmets under their shoulders. One is an eagle who looks to be in his early 30s, and the other is an old, large bear with a beard. They're wearing the same type of armor as Lyre. When they get close enough, the bear nudges the eagle, looking in Lyle's direction. He whispers something in the eagle's ear, which makes the eagle chuckle. They get closer, so I decide to stare at the wall and pretend I'm lost in thought. I'd like to avoid drawing any attention. Lyle watches them as they pass.
Gentlemen?
Captain! The eagle addresses Lyle, but the bear pays him no mind. Lyle gives a nod, and they both continue moving down the hallway. I wonder what that was all about. His silence seemed very forced.
As I was saying.
He bends over, resting an elbow on his knee, and begins to speak in a more hushed voice.
You can't just blindly put your trust into people like him.
I know that. I never said I trusted him. I just think he seems nice. And what do you mean by that?
By what?
People like him.
Those people? It's not like that. It's not like that. I meant ambassadors and diplomats.
I give him plenty of time to let those words settle in before talking. Lyle, I'm an ambassador.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not. You're one of the good ones.
Jeez, Lyle.
You don't. I trust you enough. You're cute, so, that covers a lot. And I know you won't make me regret it.
I'm taken aback by this and can't think of what to say at first. Lyle, Thank you for putting your trust in me. I'm just here to help. He stands up and looks down at me.
I know. You're not like the others.
You're one of the good ones. He's about to say it. I get up too and carry on with walking down the hallway. Lyle catches up to me and matches his pace with mine.
Hey, I want to show you something really cool.
What is it?
You'll see. Follow me.
I want to dispute this at first, but I shrug my shoulders and follow him down the halls. We stroll down a corridor overlooking a courtyard, and up ahead there's an exit that leads outside. Lyle picks up his pace, practically speed walking. He reaches the archway and turns around, standing there waiting for me to catch up. I reach the opening and look outside.
Pretty, huh?
Oh. The cold fall wind lightly whips at my face, and I'm found staring at a beautiful garden. Smooth, round stones and berry bushes line the dirt path. Each berry is red and shining, almost as big as cherry tomatoes. The entire garden is surrounded by stone walls and large, thick trees. This place feels more natural than most gardens, like a serene sanctuary. Birds chirp and winds blow through the trees, causing leaves to dance to the ground. The pond off the path has a strange green glow to it, as if there are lights at the bottom. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh, wow.
Welcome to my favorite place in the castle.
It's beautiful out here.
The weather usually fares better this time of day.
He's right. The cold isn't that bad under the warm sunlight. I guess I should enjoy moments like this before the weather becomes too cold.
Oh, here.
We walk over to one of the berry bushes and he plucks one of them.
Try one of these.
Oh, I take the berry and put it in my mouth. Instantly, it bursts with flavor in my mouth. It's not necessarily the best taste, but it feels good on my tongue. Like a tingling feeling. The berry was cold, which is good because I like my cold. The berry was cold, which is good because I like my fruit cold. That was pretty good. A smile breaks out on his face as he pops a berry in his mouth.
Yeah, they're great. Raynar absolutely loves them.
Really?
Yeah. Though, I'm pretty sure the taste is better for those who don't eat meat. Sometimes he'll take walks through the gardens and pick berries to bring up to his room in a basket. They grow really fast, so we always have plenty. Also, all of the fruit in the garden is unaffected by winter, so we don't have to worry about them.
That's convenient. Now that he mentions it, I was wondering why the fruit was still on its trees. Especially since it snowed a couple of times while I was here. Of course, it wasn't enough snow to be bad. It snows much more up in the mountains. Thinking about the snow in the mountains eventually causes my mind to dwell on the avalanche. I try to push it out of my mind, but a horrible feeling of dread begins to overwhelm me. I can tell it's apparent on my face because Lyre notices.
What's wrong?
It's nothing. My mind has just been racing lately.
How so?
I don't know, it's just... Sometimes I'll catch myself talking to people, but I'm not even paying attention to them. My ears register the noise of their words, but all I hear are my thoughts. And they aren't happy thoughts. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, sometimes. But that's not what's actually bothering you, is it? It's deeper than that.
How could you tell?
I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm good at being able to tell when someone's lying.
Is that why you don't like Kadaj?
Well, I guess. The problem with him, though, is that I couldn't tell whether he was acting or not. And in my opinion, that's worse. Now, stop changing the subject. What's really wrong?
I clasp my hands together in front of me and continue to walk down the path at a slow pace. I just... My thoughts have been going dark places recently. Even when I sleep. I've been trying to push them out, but they keep resurfacing.
What are these thoughts about?
Well, so much has happened recently. A lot of it happened while I was out, so it feels like it's all just happening too fast for me to take in. By the time I had woken up after being knocked out for so long, the survivors had already left for Erin. I don't even know who died. Did I know them? Then my mind starts racing with more thoughts of what happened. I've never really been bothered by something like this before. I fiddle with one of the buttons on my vest as we walk. I don't know why. But death has never really bothered me that much. Sometimes I feel like I'm forcing myself to act shocked or sad. Growing up, people close to me or people I knew would die all the time. I guess that I'm just numb to it. Or I was. This time it's different. I feel like I'm not acting like myself. Like there's a part of me that's missing or hidden. With each passing day, the guilt gets worse and worse, and I take a moment to catch my breath. I just missed home, I guess. As childish as that sounds. I throw one of the berries to the side of the path in anger.
That's not childish.
Yes, it is. I know he's right, but I just feel so stupid right now. Even if something is right, that doesn't mean I'll feel good about it.
It's completely normal to be homesick. Do you have any family? Someone you love?
Oh boy. No, I'm not married.
Really? I suppose that makes sense. Otherwise, she would have journeyed here with you. Either way, I figured you'd be one of the most desirable bachelors in your kingdom.
Oh, Lyle, stop it, you. I try with all my might not to get too flustered by this comment. That's far from the truth.
Nah, you just refuse to see it. Sure, you may not have a strong family name, but the mystery of your nobility is certainly attractive. I'm sure many ladies pine after you.
I let out a nervous laugh at his attempts at boosting my spirits. Yes, well, if only I desired them as much as they desired me. We keep walking, and after a few seconds, he finally takes the hint, doing a double take in my direction.
Oh. Oh.
Oh! Oh! Really? I had no idea. I mean, you don't act.
I don't know, sorry, after the other comment, I'd be like, Lyle's just gonna come across that way to me like,
You don't act like that. You must be one of the good ones.
I shrug, my face visibly hot with blood, the cold doing its best to hide it.
I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I never would have guessed.
He's about to say it. He puts a paw on my shoulder in a friendly way, smiling as he does. Yeah, most people don't. I want to change the subject, but he beats me to it.
Now, about what happened. You might not like to hear this because it's often the phrase most people use, but they're in a better place now. That was a tragic accident, and you shouldn't blame yourself for it.
I don't blame myself for it. It just terrifies me thinking about it. Death has always been a pretty confusing subject for me. I mean, I grow up being taught to feel a certain way about something, but then after a while I become numb to it. Even if it's in my nature to feel that way. And then when those feelings really do take over, my entire mind just shuts down. Do you know what I mean?
I can imagine what that might feel like.
He runs his paw through his neck fluff again. Thanks for listening. But if it's okay with you, I'd rather not talk about it anymore.
Sure.
We step off of the path and stroll over to the pond underneath the fruit tree. I sit down in the grass and Lyle walks up to the tree. He picks 2 ripe fruits from the branches and walks back over to where I'm sitting. He throws me a fruit, which I catch clumsily. Its skin is a bit tough, and the hole where the stem was is dripping with a sticky substance. It's gotten all over my right hand, but I ignore it. He takes a seat on the tree stump in front of me, with an understanding smile on his face.
Raynar can keep his weird chair. This is my throne.
He then takes a large bite He then takes a large bite out of the bottom of the fruit, getting juice all over his mouth in the process. Oh, hey, it's the image. I had a feeling we were gonna get to this one. I've never played the game. No worries, no spoilers. But I have seen this image. It's adorable.
So,
Yes.
you prefer the company of men, right?
Oh, So that's what you got out of that little chat we just had. I jab at his leg with my foot.
Hey, you were the one who said you didn't want to talk about the avalanche anymore. And you can't blame me for being curious.
I fold my hands on my lap and look down at the pond water. I guess I can't blame you. Sorry, I usually have a habit of dropping that information suddenly without warning. I'm not too open about it, but I also don't try to hide it.
And you most likely won't have to. People in Lyre are perfectly fine with something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just never really been interested in women. Oops, did I do that?
Neither have I.
He shuffles his feet on the ground and looks at the fruit in his paws. Wait, really?
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I thought I liked girls. I guess I just assumed that I was supposed to. Fooled myself into thinking these feelings I had were right and that this was how it was supposed to be. But as I got older, I realized I felt, more comfortable around men.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I can't believe this is happening. What am I, in some kind of furry visual novel? I'm really happy to hear this, but also super nervous. Does he think I'm trying to make a move on him? Is he making a move on me? It's okay, Richter. You guys are just bonding over a shared interest. I mean, I don't know how common it is, so you can be friends. Though I doubt that's where this is going. Is that why he's telling me? My mind spirals out of control for a brief moment, but it feels like forever.
It's been a problem for me in the past, but it doesn't bother me that much anymore.
Yeah, I try not to let it bother me either. There's a long pause. It seems like the both of us don't know whether to continue on this topic or change the subject. I hold up my fruit that he gave me. What is... I belt out a nervous cough. What is this?
Oh, it's a dragon apricot. They're really sweet, and they have a lot of juice in them.
Yeah, I can tell. I point to his muzzle, which confuses him for a second. He goes to lick it off, but completely misses. Oh, wait! I didn't know about this picture? Oh, man. He then sticks his tongue out at me.
They turn your tongue orange.
I chuckle at his silly display and he laughs too. He's clearly pleased that something so silly can amuse me. I take a bite into the fruit and it bursts with flavor in my mouth. I don't really enjoy the texture that much, but its pros outweigh the cons. I have to catch myself and make sure the juice doesn't dribble down my chin. This is really good.
Yeah. Just watch out for the pit in the middle. It's poisonous and you'll die in 30 seconds.
Oops. No, we're not going to end this cuteness. I look down, and sure enough, there's a pit exposed from my bite. It's a deep and vibrant brown. As I stare at the pit in the center of the fruit, I realize how happy I feel right now. To be able to just sit here and eat fruit with Lyle. As the birds chirp and the breeze grazes my skin. I feel so relaxed. We continue to eat and talk as the sun slowly sets over the mountains. After a while, we head inside the castle and make our way back to my room. I have a question for you.
Ask away.
Why aren't you wearing your armor?
Oh. Today's my 23rd birthday, I get the day off. Which is great, because last year my birthday fell on a day when I already had the day off.
Oh gosh, don't you just hate that? Why didn't you tell me it was your birthday?
Because it's not really that important to me. And I wanted to spend the day with you without it being too extra. It's better that way.
I wouldn't have spent all morning doing work if I knew that it was your birthday.
Richter, honestly, it's fine. I enjoyed being able to relax. Plus, that armor's a real pain in the ass.
He rolls his shoulders back and smiles. Getting on the topic of Lyle's armor makes me remember those guards we saw outside of the throne room. Lyle?
Yes, Richter?
Do you remember those two guards whispering about us in the hallway? He takes a moment to answer.
Yes.
What do you think they were talking about?
Richter, I think they were talking about me. They think I'm your lackey or something.
He looks down at the ground with a frown. But you're not. You were just assigned to be my guard.
It's a bit confusing, though, don't you think? The captain of the royal guard was assigned to guard an ambassador when he should be guarding the king. Raynor appointed me as captain for certain reasons that he feels he doesn't need to justify. And the other guards are confused by it.
Well, what do you think? He picks a leaf off of one of the vines and examines it.
I trust our king's judgment. He's very wise and has plenty of experience. I believe that he chose me for a reason. My ability to command, my mentality, my youth, whatever it may be. And he assigned me to you because, well, I don't know. But there are other guards with much more experience who can protect the king and the prince. And I like being your guard.
He looks down at me with a smile. I like it too. I think whoever wanted to come after Raynor would honestly be the one needing protection. He's huge.
True. He is a big man. But he's not a fighter. More of a gentle giant.
Still, I wouldn't want to pick a fight with him. He would bear hug me to death.
Now that I could see happening.
Alright. We arrive at the door to my room and Lyle opens it for me, stepping off to the side.
Richter?
Yes?
I know that you're pretty open about it, but I won't tell anyone about what we talked about earlier.
Oh, thanks. I don't really care either way, though.
Okay, just, can you promise me something?
Sure.
Please don't tell anyone about my attractions.
Of course.
Thank you.
I step inside and lean against the doorway. Good night, Lyle.
Good night.
He takes off down the hall at a slow pace. As he walks down the hall, I hear him yell back to me.
Don't forget to lock the door.
I yell back to him. I know. Happy birthday. He turns around, ears red, giving a shy smile.
Thanks.
He walks off with his tail wagging. Oh, that's so cute. I close the door behind me, lock it, and take off my clothes. And I guess we're gonna just call it here, folks. The day's over. It was super adorable. I can't stand it. Oh man, I love that. I'm glad we got to it though. You know, I mean, you know, what else was it gonna be? I guess you could have been bi, but you know, or something else. But cool. Learned a lot more about Lyle. But and I hope you guys learned a lot more about I don't know, liking and subscribing, I guess. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a good day, a good night, a good evening, whatever it is for you. And we'll just see you on the next one. Bye for now. Take care.